and welcome to another Mail Day video. And it's been a while, hasn't it, since the last one. This is a series that's been running on my channel very infrequently over the past 13 years. Although this might be the second in a batch of new ones. I can't remember, I haven't even decided at this point which order I'm putting them. I'm filming two back to back, but this is one of them. So this will probably be the first one. So yeah, I've already kind of, yeah. It's very late when I'm filming this, by the way. So I partook in the Indicator sale. I have a box of Blu-rays. Now I was in the hallway of my house, right? It just happened to be next to the door, and I was going through some stuff, and I just hear a little, knock, 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 and I go right to the door, open the key, pull it open, and he's already about 3 doors down, and he's like, "Oh, I don't know if you're in." I'm like, "Motherfucker!" Like 2 seconds. I just thought I saw the fucking size of it. Like, did you want to be lugging this around all day? Like, what? It just made no fucking sense to me. Didn't ring the doorbell either, but whatever. So it was by sheer luck that I had this, and I'm now going to open it and show you what I went with. Lots of these gimmicks here. Indicator are very good with packaging their things well, and they, Indicator sales. They remind me of like the OG like Eureka sales back in the day, where they'd be selling like massive cinema Blu-rays for like £6 and stuff, like steelbooks for like £7, like crazy deals. Indicator, they just seem to do great discounts on a lot of their stuff, and I was looking mainly at their 4 for £20 deal. So we got 2 bubble wrapped packages here inside the main box. Yeah, let me just put this to one side for a second. So I spent a long time going through all of the releases in the 4 for 20 deal. There's so many that I'm interested in, and I was looking at all the standard editions. I was like, and I think I have do I have a stand? I think I was, yeah, this one has both of them. So I was looking at the 4 for 20, as I said, and I was trying to prioritize the limited editions that were in there, because £5 each for a limited edition, Indicator release, I think is awesome. So that was what I kind of looked at the most. But then the films I really wanted were in the standard editions, and I thought, well, those standard editions are always going to be around. So I prioritized the limited editions, and instead of doing like a few rounds of the 4 for 20, because there was so many I was interested in, like I can't even tell you how many trailers I looked at and things I looked up, and was really trying to weigh up all my options, and not go crazy with the sale or anything, just spend a little bit. And ended up getting 3 like limited edition like hard box kind of things, which I'll show you in a second. But I'll first open these and get a look at the 4 for 20 deal. We'll look at those titles first, and then there's 3 other ones. We got like a little booklet in here. I think that's from the Richard Pryor what is this? Gene Wilder box set they just put out, Pryor and Wilder. I really want that. Hopefully it's around when they do the next sale. These are nice. I sometimes get some of these, and yeah, I do love Indicator. I don't love everything they do, I find that the stuff they do varies quite a lot. I was talking to a friend about this. They seem to primarily really operate in British and American cinema. There's not a whole lot of other things. Again, it's late. There's not a whole lot of other countries represented, whereas like, other labels, they will go around a lot for like other countries, and Radiance, you'll see a lot of Italian stuff and Japanese stuff and so on. Eureka, there's a lot of Chinese, Hong Kong, whatever. At the moment, anyway, obviously things move in different waves. So here's 2 from the 4 for 20 that I got. So one is a limited edition, so it's like a full sleeve like Criterion case, and then a standard edition, which is just a normal clear Amaray case. I believe the limited edition has a booklet, and this one does not. But it still looks nice, I guess. That's just the thing. I don't like that you get the symmetry is lost from the when you put them all on the shelf. So just that kind of having that little gap there. I don't know. Anyway, so the first one is Connecting Rooms. So this one is starring Bette Davis, Michael Redgrave. I just like the sound of the story of it, you know, and again, going for the limited editions, while they're £5. This one has got all sorts of, I mean, that's one thing Indicator does right, is the extras. They go seemingly above and beyond on the extras of their releases. And there was something on this one that really grabbed my attention. Yes. I don't know if it links to the film in any way, if tennis is mentioned or even a part of the story in any way, shape, or form. But there is a film called The Way to Wimbledon from 1952, 17 minutes long, a documentary short directed by Gollins. Oh, it's by the guy who wrote and directed this film, Franklin Gollins, and narrated by John Mills, which focuses on the 50 weeks of the year when Wimbledon is preparing to host the next tennis championships. I'm a big fan of Wimbledon and of tennis, so something about Wimbledon in the 50s sounds fascinating to me, and I like that idea of looking at, you know, what the grounds are like and what they get up to, and those 50 weeks of the year where they're not hosting Wimbledon. That's really interesting. A transcript of a speech by Gollins, originally broadcast on Clyde Radio Scotland following Bette Davis's death in 1989, and another documentary short about Spotlighted the Fair, takes a look at travelling fairs across the UK. So 2 short documentaries from the director of this film. 4K restoration, you know, and again, they don't do synopsises in the back, which Zaron Isaac is not a particular fan of. But from memory, it was like kind of like an apartment block where there's just like connecting rooms, you know, and just kind of a microcosm of different neighbors and things like that. I just like the sound of it. So, yeah, 1970. And now this one is a film that Zaron Isaac actually first told me about. Is called Cash on Demand. Now again, there's no synopsis on the back cover, which is frustrating, but it stars Peter Cushing, who I love, directed by Quentin Lawrence, 1961. There's 2 versions of the film, and I believe it's like set in a bank, and it's like the way he sold it to me was like, I have to see that. It sounds awesome. Peter Cushing, I love Peter Cushing. You know, I really need, there's like I don't even know if it's still available. It might be out of print now. There's like a Peter Cushing box set that I think Severin put out that just looked like, I've been using this term lately, cinema crack, you know. I just love Peter Cushing. So, yes, this has a high definition remaster. There's 2 presentations of the film. The original UK theatrical cut, 67 minutes, and the extended US version, 81 minutes. There is an audio commentary. Oh, Jonathan Rigby and David Miller. I like Jonathan Rigby's commentaries on some of Eureka's horror releases. There is a 2018 analysis of the film by Hammer expert Jonathan Rigby, awesome, and also Josephine Botting and John J. Johnston. There's a whole bunch of stuff, really cool. So, how to rob a bank and get away with it. It just seems like that kind of pressure cooker story, and I think Peter Cushing plays the bank manager, maybe? I don't know, the way it was sold to me, I was like, yes, all in. So let's crack open this second bubble-wrapped package here. We'll get to the other 2 and the 4 for 20 that I went into. These are 2 more limited edition. There was another one like MacArthur with Gregory Peck. I love Gregory Peck, but it just didn't make the cut. I really wanted to see Cash on Demand. I've been putting off for like multiple sales now from Indicator, so I just finally bit the bullet and went for that because I really want to just watch it, whether it's a limited edition or not, right? So the other 2 I went for look very similar in terms of the spine colors. They go together quite well. Well, it's not even color; it's just white. So the first one here is Girl Stroke Boy. This one really grabbed me because of the story and just for 1971 Britain. It's about a guy who brings home his new partner to meet his parents, who are fairly kind of stuffy types. And his partner is, I think it said in the synopsis on the website, a West Indian, I don't know how they phrased it, because when I first read it, I thought it meant a transgender woman. And then I look at the trailer, I was like, okay, more of an effeminate man, so he's gay, I suppose. And on the back here it says, the boy was cause for dissension. There was his dress, his hair, his ideas, his friends, especially his friends. So on first glance, I thought this was kind of diving into kind of transgender issues, but I think it's more just an effeminate gay man. and again, black. So I just love the idea of like, what does that look like in 1970s Britain, as obviously portrayed in the film, not in reality, because this isn't a lens on the world. But yeah, again, we haven't lost a son, we've gained a question mark, right? So yeah, I looked at the trailer and I was like, I'm not sure. And then I saw who plays the mother, and it's Joan Greenwood. And Joan Greenwood is a great actress who I think I've only ever seen in one film ever, but she made such an impression on me in Kind Hearts and Coronets. And I believe she's such a vital part of that film. And to see her a few decades later in a film like this just intrigued me. So, and I believe there is an actor. Man, I'm filming this way too late. I'll leave it in for free. There is an interview with the actor and pop star Peter Straker as he recalls his experience of making the film. He plays the new boyfriend. So that's kind of cool, and that was done in 2022. So that's something that, if you have like one of the lead characters in the film, decades later coming back to do an interview for the Blu-ray, that to me is like a great asset. And obviously these have booklets, they're limited editions, and there's a whole bunch of other things. There's a 1971 comedy short film. So I mean, I like how they also like BFI a lot of the time. They'll put like extra short films and things on them. But I'm very intrigued to check this out in full and see what I make of it, and see if it's what I think it is, if maybe it's closer to what I thought it was, or somewhere in between, or not at all. That's kind of the fun of it, isn't it? And then next one, for kind of similar reasons actually. I just like the concept of this. And this one from 1970. So it's like kind of the, interesting looks at, I suppose, racism in the 1970s. This one is from Melvin Van Peebles, and it is Watermelon Man. So the concept about this one is, I believe, a white kind of racist bigot type goes to bed one night and then wakes up and he's black. And I just thought, sold. Like, just that as a concept, and based on obviously Melvin Van Peebles making the film, this isn't something that there's no blackface involved here. There's whiteface involved here. You know what I mean? So that I'm just like, yeah. And I want to say also, it is worth noting this Girl Stroke Boy, which I'd never heard of in my whole life, is a 4K scan from rare surviving film elements by Powerhouse Films themselves. That's another thing I love about Indicator, is they will go that extra mile for the transfer of the film, and that's that would never get picked up by a studio release. This one is just high definition presentation. It has a 71-minute interview with Melvin Van Peebles from 1996, an archival audio recording. They do a lot of that, like audio kind of extras, which I kind of like, because there's a lot of stuff that you can use there, I think. But the Watermelon Man, just the concept alone just hooked me in. And now I'm just going to get out the 3 limited editions. Oh, interesting. Okay. I didn't know these were digipack releases. Just dig these out a second. Oh god, they're quite hefty though. I will say that. Okay, do I know where the other one is? Because there's something that links to this. Yes, it's right there. So a few sales ago, I got this, and it's still unopened. Enter Santo. So this is a couple of films, Santo versus Evil Brain and Santo versus Infernal Men, the first adventures of the Silver Masked Man. So these are, I believe, Mexican films, Mexico/Cuba from 1961, and it's it's about this this lucha libre wrestler, and from what I remember looking into it, just wild, oh man, this is like a feature-length documentary. This one is absolutely stacked. They just look wacky and kind of 1960s, and low budget, and being such a big wrestling fan, and I'll get to that in a second, I was intrigued when I saw that Indicator put out a whole slew of other related releases, so I decided to get all of them. And I almost got these the last sale. So seeing that they were still available now, I decided to pull the trigger on them. So first up, I don't know if I should take off the, because the artwork is so gorgeous on these. And then I could take a look at the digipacks on the inside. Let me open these up first, so you can get like the full impact. As I'm doing this, I suppose I can talk about a little bit about how wrestling is a big part of my life. You know, I've been a wrestling fan for 25 years. I was a wrestler myself for quite a number of years in my youth. I was a backyard wrestler around the UK. I wrestled in, Wales, up in the valleys, over in London, Newcastle, Manchester, Essex. I went to all sorts of different places, met all sorts of different people, and I became pretty good at wrestling. Got to a point where the backyard wrestling community in the UK was far beyond what you might expect of, backyard wrestling. And we were eventually doing shows in front of, not many, but we did a couple of shows in front of paying audiences. And, everyone got so good that eventually a lot of them just went pro. And so, Will Ospreay is a guy who some people might know, who, I wrestled him once, and I wrestled in some of his shows, like way back when he was just like a kid. Some of the guys in NXT UK, when that was a thing, good friends of mine. So it's nice to see the people who really had not just the talent for it, because I definitely had the talent for it, but I don't think I ever had the drive and determination to really dedicate my life to it. But also I was very silly and did some silly things in my backyard wrestling days, and I don't have very good knees, or my back is in pretty rough shape. So luckily they kind of were able to push through any kind of backyard wrestling related, what's the word? Not health problems, but injuries, wear and tear, backyard wrestling wear and tear, and they made it as pro wrestlers, and so that's awesome. Anyway, but so I've done wrestling. I love watching wrestling. I wish I could still wrestle, but these are like kind of wrestling movies, and I find that really interesting because there's not many of them, but these are like really wacky ones as well. So this is the first one. Not that they're in any order by any means. This is from 1968. Maybe we should go in chronological order just in case that kind of really, I don't know, 1967. And then this one is 1970. Okay. Does it really matter? No, it doesn't, but we'll go chronological all the same. But these are like kind of wrestling film curiosities. They're not really wrestling movies, but they're about lucha libre stars, and so on that basis, I'm kind of really intrigued. So this one is the Panther Women, and these sets, the beautiful texture on these outer boxes. But the Panther Women, I'll take this thing off here. Just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous artwork. And I looked at the trailers for these ones, and this one just looks like it's like female lucha libre wrestling, luchador stuff, and it's like a gothic horror as well. Like it looks like a Mario Bava film or something. It just looks awesome. So on the inside, you actually get a digipack and a nice booklet. It's interesting how they're both kind of the same size. I would have thought they'd be the same as the Enter Santo set, where it's you get the Amore case, but also just like the quality of like the transfer just looks gorgeous. And as again, it's just something I love, is that like you get these films that are like just fringe stuff, and they get given this gold standard treatment by like a company like Indicator. I think it's awesome. So a nice hefty booklet there for Panther Women. Oh man, this looks like the original poster. That's awesome. I love this. Texture on this thing is beautiful too. Oh man, this is just, yeah. So this is a 2K restoration from the original negative. There's an audio commentary on here. There's Let Them Fight, a piece on, the kind of, well, what's this? There's so much going on here. So Let Them Fight from 2024, the featurette. The Killer Film, El Critico Enmascarado, the masked critic, lucha libre specialist and filmmaker behind the Monterrey film wrestlers documentary La Femenil, discusses the protagonist of the film, the Cine de Luchadoras, and the controversial history of Mexican female wrestling. Holy shit, that's quite a summary of a special feature there. Catfight from 2024. Academic and Latin American horror specialist Valeria Villegas Lindval, also known as Morena de Fuego, examines the struggle for empowerment and the subversive representation of the female characters in the film. Trailer, promotional material. Yeah, man. This, yeah, I just love the look of this set, you know. And these are films I'd never heard of before, and that's how I like it. I just love being surprised by these new discoveries that can only come out from, you know, companies like Indicator being able to exist by people buying their releases. And you know, yeah, oh man, this is just such a gorgeous set. Oh, I love it. I really do. There's that one. And to tie in with the Enter Santo set, we have Santo versus the Riders of Terror. So let's take that one off again and take a look at the full whack there. That's gorgeous. No title on that one, interestingly enough. It was on the little card on the bottom, but yeah, that's just beautiful. And on the inside we have again the booklet and the digipack. So this is like a Western. I just saw this clip, and you just see Santo like this fucking mask on, you know, just in like a Western town having a little scrap with some cowboys, and I just thought it looked wonderful just based on that. Like just these films just look they look like fun, you know. Oh, that's actually the scene I saw. You can see in the booklet there. And again, just like lavish booklet, you know, just incredible, absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at the front cover on this one. Ooh, we got a different poster on the digipack. That's an interesting one. Santo contra los jinetes del terror. Very, very cool. This one's a 4K restoration for the original negative. And this one has two presentations of the film. Oh, things got dark on the camera there. Two presentations of the film. So you have the original Santo versus the Riders of Terror, the original Mexican theatrical cut, 78 minutes. And you have Lepers and Sex, which is an 84-minute version that is the extended softcore porn version of the film, which, from what I understand, goes against kind of the reputation of Santo as a character. So there's an audio commentary on this one, interviews, another interview with Killer Film, and alternative French opening credits, trailer, image gallery, you know, the whole works. I really look forward to just going through all of these and giving them a look. You know, I'm very intrigued now, and if anything, they look like fun curiosities. How can you argue with that fucking gorgeous cover there? That's beautiful. And then the final one, I wasn't even sure if this had any link to wrestling, but apparently, like, again, just the Lucha Libre stuff is kind of part of the DNA of this one. And I'll take the oh no, there's no title on this one, so I'll keep this on for a second. We have the Batwoman, which seems like it's a DC film or something, but no, this is like I'll take the thing off there because that's just another gorgeous. I just love that striking, and it just feels so 60s, you know. And this would be, you know, around the time of the Batman TV series with Adam West. Audacious, invincible, fearless. And again, we have the digipack and the booklet for the film. So a quick look here. So it seems like she is kind of, you know, a wrestler / superhero. I don't really know. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Very nice. And it's not even like I'm a big Lucha Libre fan per se, but it's wrestling. It's a part of wrestling history, and that's something I'm always going to be interested in, is the history of something that I love so much and has been a big part of my life. It's my kind of cool original promotional material there, I think. And let's take a look at the... oh, that's awesome. Oh, man, I love that. That's really cool. Batwoman in color. That's just... I'm turning into Blu-ray Dan again. Love that coloring. Love that artwork. So this has this 4K restoration again, but this one seems properly mental, like monsters and fucking like all sorts of shit. It seems like much in the same, you know, the same people doing like commentaries, and this one has from 2024 an interview with Mara Monti, the Batwoman herself, discussing her life and short but prolific career in Mexican genre cinema. So that's nice that she has an interview on the disc. There we have the inside. I don't think I showed you the inside of the Riders of Terror, but that's okay. I think you'll live. Yeah, very, very nice. So I kind of just committed to the Santo thing and the kind of Mexican cinema aspect. And as I was saying, like, the Indicator seems to do mainly American and British stuff. I think overall that's true. But if you look at a lot of the stuff they're doing right now, like stuff like this that veers off into Mexican cinema, also they've been doing a lot of like genre in like French cinema as well. Lots of 4K releases in that area. So yeah, so there we go. That was the selection of stuff that I grabbed in the Indicator sale. And a very nice mail day indeed. I'll try and just get that stack a bit more perfectly aligned there. Not that I'm using this for the thumbnail, but there you go. Thumbnails are always really weird because they're just so stagey, but yeah, awesome. I can't wait to put these on my shelf and not watch them for about 10 years.